Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Pirate Prepper here. Well, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, hasn't it? Pretty much. First thing I'm going to say to people is stop panicking. Relax. Get a chill pill. Or 3. 4 even. With all the predisposition towards panicking, with all the people and their doomer reports, and the news. Get to the news in a minute. Everybody is having a bad day lately. And what do I mean by that? Well, the news has not been good. Granted, there's been a lot of bad things happening. The eviction moratorium, for one. Because on the face of it, it's an illegal action. Constitutionally, it's an illegal action. Under the 10th Amendment alone. Can government tell you what to do with your property? What you can charge for your property? If they're telling you you have to give your property away, that's theft. That's theft of your time. Your property. You're having to give it away. Oh, hey, you'll get money on the back end. That doesn't help me now. And especially if they go with this 60% number. They've just stolen 40% of your money. But I digress. News around the world. Tankers being attacked. All sorts of people having bad days everywhere. Australia is sending drones and troops after people who haven't got the jab yet. The more you look at the news, the more it seems like everything's going down the drain. So stop looking at the news. I mean it. Stop looking at the news. Your mainstream media, that includes Fox, by the way, is biased. Some more so than others. And that bias is coming through. Loud and clear. The key here is to ignore it. The people who want to be activists have taken control of the various news programs. NPR is now allowing their reporters to be activists. Isn't that federally funded, NPR? Maybe. But who cares, right? It's a prepping channel, sort of. It's been getting weird again, or strange, or call it what you will. Doesn't really matter what you call it. We're seeing shortages continue. We're seeing price increases. I believe the official number for the month of July was 5.6, 5.9%. Or maybe that was the year so far. Either way. Just from that number alone, that's over 1/20th. That doesn't sound like much of an increase in price. 1/20th isn't much, right? It's a nickel on every dollar. But if you spend $100, that's $5 more. How many of you spend $100 at the grocery every week? Or $200? Oh, look, you just got $5, $10 less for the same amount of money. But I'll bet you the real inflation number there, the real number at the end of your receipt is not 5%. I know because I look at our grocery receipts and see $20, $30, $40, $50 difference for the same stuff. What does that tell me? It tells me that real inflation and real price increases are happening. Do I see less product on the shelves? Of course. Between shipping, production, all these other issues, thanks to Rona, and the associated problems caused by politics, politicians, and just the world in general right now. Fires, traffic accidents, you name it. Everything seems to be ramping up right now. I-80 across Wyoming has been closed in at least one direction. How many times this year? Does that slow things down? Yeah, it does. That slows things coming across the U.S. So what am I telling you to do? Despite the price increases, despite the lack of product, I'm telling you to put some extra back. I'm telling you, go get some extra bags of rice. Go get some extra bags of beans. Go get some extra wheat flour, or almond flour, or rice flour, or whatever you eat. Don't get something you don't eat. If you don't eat rice, don't get it. If you don't eat beans, don't get it. If you don't eat sauerkraut, there's your answer again. You don't eat it. Don't get it. But go get some toothpaste, because you do use it. Go get a couple extra toothbrushes, because you use them. Go get those things you use. Throw an extra pack of underwear on that Amazon order. Not like you're not going to wear them. Look around you. Look at what you use every day. Okay. A little salt shaker you take to work and leave in your desk drawer? Get a spare. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to go bad. Plan ahead. Plan for shortages, because we know they're coming. It's been interesting looking at the media and how they've downplayed certain things and raised others up. It's been interesting watching what's been going on, the way things are twisted. And bluntly, we don't want to blindly go down the path. We may go down the path anyway. Are you going to get a jab or not? Doesn't matter, does it really? It's your decision. If you're forced, that's another matter, because it's no longer your decision. However, there are things beyond our control. There are things we can't stop, whether we like it or not. But I can lessen the effect on myself, on my family, on my town, potentially. What can I do to lessen effects on my town? I can choose my city council members carefully. I can go to them. I can send them letters. I can talk to them at the gym. I can talk to them at the grocery store. I can make my opinion known. And if enough people make their opinion known, they make changes. I can affect my family by getting a better job, or keeping one that's going to make me happier, by having enough food and the yard fertilizer and oil to do an oil change in the car, put back. So when the prices go up 2, 3-fold, potentially, I'm still doing it at a sale price. I'm saving money. I'm saving those funds for other things. If I don't have to spend $50 on 5 quarts of oil, when I can get it for $18 now and just put it back, it's not like it's going bad. But that money, that extra $32, can go towards what? Keeping the mortgage paid? Keeping the rent paid? Paying off those student loans early. Well, there's no interest being charged. There's a thought. Pay off those things that will pay you to do now. Do the things now while we still can. Right now is the best time to prep. Right after yesterday and the day before. What's stopping you? It's not like it takes a lot of effort to throw an extra can of sliced peaches in the cart at the grocery store. Ooh, 69 cents. Guess what? That's a little bit of food. That's some calories. That is something you don't have to pay $1.25 for later. And if you never use it, it's like insurance. How many of you have been paying auto insurance or homeowners insurance for decades? Never used it. But you've got it. Food, stored goods, that's insurance. That's all that is. Look at the people who got through the Great Depression, or got through various situations in Zimbabwe or Venezuela, who got through them better because they had some food put back. They didn't have to spend the extra money to get that food. So they're not starving because food's not available that day. I keep harping on this because it's the simplest thing we can do. Putting a little back here and there. Put some money back. Use your time accordingly. What can you do to better yourself? Go to the gym, work out, go for a run. I don't know. You tell me. But more importantly, tell yourself. Figure out your motivation. Figure out what you need. And then realize what you need to do to get through tomorrow. What happens if the power is out tomorrow? What happens to the food in your fridge, in your freezer? Can you cook it still? Or is it just going to rot in there? A good friend of mine, excuse me, had to bug out from hurricanes, plural. Left for one, ended up being gone for several. His freezers were off. Freezers, plural. Lots of meat. A couple weeks later, it wasn't meat. But it certainly smelled bad. What could he have done? Well, a bunch of coolers, take it with him. Possibly. Trailer, Literally throw the freezers on a trailer with a generator. Every couple hours stop, fire it up. Get them cold again. Keep them cold. When you get where you're going, you plug them back in. It's an option. It's not the prettiest option, but it is an option. That would have saved him probably a couple $1,000 in lost food. But probably also made the trip a little easier because he could have thrown other things on the trailer. So not only did he lose food that they're planning on eating, but he lost money to replace the food, to replace the meat, the veggies, everything in those freezers that were rotten. And in his own time, cleaning them out and getting rid of the smell. Look at what you need to do to get through tomorrow. What do you need tomorrow? How much food do you need for tomorrow? How much water do you need for tomorrow? Do you need more clothing? Because, hey, temperature's changing. You may be 80 degrees during the day, but in the 40s at night. Do you need another jacket? Do you need a heavier coat? Because, well, you finally ripped the last one. And you haven't replaced it yet. Summer's the best time. If there's any of those coats left, they're dirt cheap. Now it's time to buy one or two. It sounds like excuse me. It would seem like I'm just telling you to go spend money. Go buy stuff. I'm not. And yet I am. I'm telling you to evaluate what you need. What do you need in Texas is different than what you would need in Wyoming or Iowa or New York State or New York City even. Definitely different there. Excuse the wind. Look at what you're going to need. Look at what is potentially not going to be available. If, say, this winter, I-80 closes, I-70, I-10, pick a number. If that highway closes, do the trucks get to the grocery stores? Do they get to Walmart? How much food is in that Walmart in your local grocery store? In a town of 10,000 people, how fast can that grocery be wiped out? Overnight? 2 days? We already saw what happened to toilet paper and paper towels. We saw what happened to cleaning supplies. How many days did that take to wipe everything out? For months? What are you planning for? How much stuff can you store? That's always an interesting question too. Where do you put it all? Well, depending on what you get, it may not take up that much space, or it might. Plan accordingly. Look around. Look at the space you have. What do you have to work with? If you live in a little tiny apartment, an economy apartment, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of room for stuff. There's a lot of stuff you don't need if you're going to stay there. Are you going somewhere in an emergency? The in-laws, your grandparents, an aunt and uncle's place? That's up to you. You can't do anything except make a plan and hope it goes that way. You know, the bridge across the river might be out. Train may have burned up the Phooey, wow. The bridge over the highway. Yeah, that one happened. Train caught fire. Burned up the entire bridge. Concrete. It happens. Or you got to figure out a back way to get someplace. If you can get there at all. I don't know. That's up to you. What I will say right now is I would be looking at what I can do right now. What can I get food? Yes. Can I get water? Yes. Can I get medications, over-the-counter prescriptions that I need? Enough to get me through a bad spot. That could be just a couple weeks without power, a couple weeks without trucks rolling through town. That's fine. Look at Katrina. Look at the various hurricanes. Look what would have happened. And use those as your learning experience. Have a means to pay your bills. You're still going to have to pay your credit card bill. You are. You're still going to have to pay the mortgage. You are. You're still going to have to pay the rent, despite the moratorium. You are. And if you haven't been saving money because of the moratorium, because you know you're going to have to pay it off and it ends, that's not planning correctly. That's not preparing. So look around. Get yourself 3 days, a week, a month, a year. I don't care the number. But plan accordingly on how many days you want to be ready for. Have food, have water, have a means to heat a room in your house. Have a means to sleep somewhere other than your bedroom. It could happen. Have a means of defense. Yeah, prices are through the roof right now. But have something. Granddaddy's duck gun still works. You don't need to spend $10 million on arms and ammunition. It'd be nice to have, but you don't have to. Have a way of protecting yourself and your family. And have the knowledge that goes with it when you're legally able to use said weapon. When you're legally allowed. When you're not going to get yourself sued and thrown in jail. Jail is bad. Jail's worse when everything else is falling apart. All right, kiddies. Enough with the fun and games. I'll try to post a fun one later today. You have a great day. Pirate Ripper out.